do a part two. All right, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
All right. So when it comes to comps, what do you mean by comps? What is that?
All right. So comps are comparable properties, right? So, and this is something that you'll hear in the 1 to 4 unit residential space primarily. So, if you have a 3 bed, 1 bath, Cape Cod single, 1,100 square feet, you don't want to compare that to a 4 bed, 2 bath colonial that's 1,600 square feet, right? You want to compare apples to apples because when you're looking at comps, you're looking at two factors. When did this last Cape Cod or similar style property sell in the last 6 to 12 months? And how far from the subject property was the the property that sold at that time frame, right? So typically the ideal metrics are properties that sold, similar or like properties that sold in the last 6 months within a half-mile radius. And when you can find those properties, see what they sold for, you can almost determine the value of the subject property based on those similar or like properties or comparable properties. So that's my understanding of comps.
Okay, because I've heard about that people use this for the underwriting process. Now, when it comes to the half mile radius, I mean, you're in Milwaukee. Like, isn't it the next property like 2 miles away?
Nah, big misconception, man. Nah, man. Milwaukee, man, Milwaukee County is dense, bro. Like it really reminds me a lot of I always say it reminds me of New York City back in the 90s. Like they are a few years behind in terms because New York is nothing that compares to New York. But the way their houses are, it's like they're close together too. In the cities, like in certain zip codes, yeah, they real close together. But
Okay.
Milwaukee is a real block to block market, right? So you might have a property that sold 2 blocks away that sold for 150,000. Then you might have some that sold for 20 grand, right? So it's getting comps in is nuts. I assure you, it's crazy, right? So that's something that I would say consult like an appraiser or a realtor or something. I wouldn't necessarily try to go at that on your own in a market like that. That's real like block to block, and that's for some pockets of the city. Not the entire county is like that, but it can get really deep in the weeds sometimes.
Got it. Thank you for going over the comps. Because one of the things that I came across was Big Business, Greg Parker. I'm not sure if you came
That's
across
my
him.
guy. Never met him, but what he's doing out of state, bro, on another level. I'm gonna meet him one day though. Like he
Yeah.
gonna know what I'm doing in Milwaukee because we definitely gonna chop it up. But yeah, I love what he does, man. He seemed like a stand up guy too.
Yeah, when I was listening to him early on, I think I started listening to him about 2 years ago. And what he was doing was buying up all the comps. So he
Right.
was leveling the playing field. So like if all these houses were going for 20,000, he'd buy them all up. And then when he started to sell one, no, all my houses are going for like 40,000. So he made it quick 20,000 right at the top. I was like, that is smart. Like
Genius.
who is doing this right now? Because it's crazy.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius. See what King Greg does is he has a construction company, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not a rehabber, right? That's a business model I don't really touch because I don't have he owns the company, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't own a construction company. So I don't really go into the walls on my deals. Like my thing is not so much lipstick, but if we need the roof, we'll pop a roof on there. If we need to upgrade the electrical from fuses to circuit breakers, we'll do that. Fix some plumbing, stuff like that. But he's taking them down to the studs
Yeah.
and building them back up. Not my business model. You know what I mean? Like he has a whole company, right, that does that specific thing. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Because I don't have that company, right? But what he's doing is just genius, man, because he's really setting his own values, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it might disturb some people in that market, like, huh? Right? I wasn't even thinking about buying over in this area. And it's a time thing. Because if he does this long enough, he can change an entire community, right?
That's the goal.
over, a span of a year, 2 years. Like he can change a whole entire community. So I definitely commend that brother and what he's doing out there. I mean, I probably only understand a tenth of what he's really doing. I mean, the way you put it together, man, it's amazing, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah.